talking about rotational symmetry today. You've done some lessons and figured out the order of rotational symmetry of several different shapes. And I've got a square in the middle of the screen right here just to show you that a square, if you were to rotate it around the center of rotation and that plus sign in the middle, this right here, that is the center of rotation. So if we were to turn a square around this center of rotation, just twist it clockwise or counterclockwise, the number of times that it would exactly fit on itself, the number of times it would do that, that is its order of rotational symmetry. So that's for a square, but now let's get to our task for today. The first task is that you are to create a piece of art that has a rotational, an order of rotational symmetry of 4. Now this square would be an example of that. It has an order of rotational symmetry of 4, but we're gonna do something that's a little bit fancier. So what we're gonna do first, I'm gonna clear the square. So I'm gonna press this button right here, clear. Now over here in rotation symmetry, I'm going to select the number 4. And what's going to happen is I'm going to draw on this area and it is automatically going to create a piece of art with my drawing that will have a rotational symmetry of 4. So I'm going to choose my color, hot pink. I'm going to choose a thickness of 3 and I'm going to use just a doodle. So this right here is just drawn. And of course a rotational symmetry of 4. Here I go. I'm just going to start drawing and see how it's repeating it. So that if I were to take one of these things and rotate it this way, it would overlap this completely once, twice, thrice, 4 times, so that it has an order of rotational symmetry of 4. Now I could just leave that right like that, screenshot it and send it. That would be enough for my task number 1. But if you want to, you can make it a little bit more fancy, but that's your choice. For your second task, you have to create another piece of art that has an order of rotational symmetry of something other than 4. And then you have to let me know what it was. So I might do 7. So I'll select 7 and I'll create another piece of art that has an order of rotational symmetry of 7. And I can combine different shapes and you can really make some pretty cool stuff with this. I know it's fun to color mandalas and this is kind of like the same thing. You can just keep building these up and make them as elaborate as you would like them to be. Just make sure that you remember what the order of rotational symmetry was. So for this one, it was 7. So don't forget what your order of rotational symmetry was. When you're done with your art, screenshot it and send it to Google Classroom once again. Your task number 3 actually is just using the reflection symmetry area of this page. So you've used rotation symmetry. I'm going to clear what I've got over here. I'm going to press clear. And then I'm going to use the reflection symmetry. And the task number 3 is to write your name so that it reflects across the x-axis. So this is a bit of a review about x and y-axis. The x-axis is now on the screen in front of us. And all I have to do is select for style. I select just drawing and I choose a color, hot pink. And then I need to write my name. And when I write my name, it is going to reflect it automatically across the x-axis. And when I'm done, I can screenshot it and submit it as task number 3. For task number 4, I'm just going to clear this. And instead of the x-axis, I'm going to select the y-axis. Now I've got my y-axis running down my page. And I have to create a piece of art of my choice reflecting it across the y-axis. Now to do this, I think I'm gonna do like a pretty picture with flowers. So I'm gonna use a few different pinks, I think, because it reminds me of spring, like that. And then when I'm done, when I've got there, okay, now I'm gonna put the center of my little flowers in. And you see, it doesn't matter what side I draw on. I can draw on this side or I can draw on this side, and it automatically reflects it onto the opposite side. The only thing that you have to be really careful of is that if you use the fill option, this right here is the fill option. If I use that option, it will only fill the side that I tap. So if I choose to fill any shape, I have to be sure to manually fill the other side so that it is actually reflected across the y-axis. Now, I know they probably don't really look like flowers yet, but I'll just add some stems. There we go. So I'm using the draw feature now, and I'm just going to add some stems. And I'm sure that you will create some marvelous stuff as well. Maybe I'll use a purple vase. They called it slate blue. I don't know, that looks like purple to me. There. Oh, it didn't turn out very nicely. Oh well, I'm happy with it. Good enough for me. I'm making sure that my lines will actually fill this because I'm going to use the fill option to color it. Maybe pink. Oops. Fill and do pink. And see, oops. I'm going to use undo there. See how it only filled one? I have to do both sides. And there, I'm happy with that. I'm going to do a screenshot. You know what? No, I want to fill my flowers too. There. So then when I'm all done, I can do a screenshot of this and put it on Google Classroom as well. So you're doing really just 4 different little pictures. So let your creativity guide you. 4 pictures, screenshot them and send them to me, and that will be the 4 tasks of your Symmetry Artist activity today.